$70 is way too much for a video game. I'm just going to come out and say that. It's way too much for a video game. I don't really understand why gaming companies decided to up the ante on new video games. They say that they are doing more with the development times and adding more content, but at the same time, we're not really receiving the new content. Honestly, gaming companies are making more money than ever, but I don't really understand why you would need to up video game prices to $70. And the only reason I could think of is corporate greed, which is something we always talk about on this channel. It's just corporate greed. New game sales have been declining, and rightfully so, because at the same time, $70 for a video game has never sat well with me, and I assure you has not sat well with a lot of people. Do you know honestly what you can do with $70? It's actually insane. Especially in this economy, $70 could be put to better use than to buy a video game that you may or may not like. Going back to the video that I just made, we're at a spot in gaming where it's basically you're getting the same type of games. Like, there's really no original content. So the fact that you want me to pay a little bit extra for a game, even if it's $10 to get the exact same game, it doesn't sit well with people. My biggest example is a game that many of us should already know, which is NBA 2K. And the one thing I've never understood about NBA 2K, why would you make us pay $70 or have the nerve to even pay money at this point for a game that you basically already have done? You're just really updating the rosters and I guess putting in more badges if you're really into the My Park scene or whatever. That's all you're doing. But they have the nerve to up the price $10 from the traditional $60, and people still have to buy virtual currency to basically upgrade their My Player if they want to play Park first day. They have to grind for badges. All the badges that they had previously, they have to grind again in a new game. You're really paying for the same game over and over. Another example is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 to 3. Basically the same game, yet you want me to pay another $70. If you bought Modern Warfare 2, that was $70 there. If you bought Modern Warfare 3, that's another $70. So $140 for the exact same game. It's actual insanity. We've come to a point in gaming where the companies are just trying to get as much money out of the consumer as possible. I mean, to be honest, these games now aren't worth $70. They're not even worth $60. Hell, they aren't even worth $40. Some of these games shouldn't even be paid for. Like, some of these games are really that fucking bad that they do not need to be paid for. And quite frankly, I feel like if we come together as a community and stop paying for these games that are basically the same exact thing that we got previously, we could probably change the game. But at the same time, a lot of people don't watch YouTube that play these games. And these are people that just want to, I guess, have fun. The people that do know better, stop paying for $70 games unless these games are worth $70. Throughout all of this, I do believe that there is an opportunity because chaos breeds opportunity. You got a bunch of these big game developers charging $70 for their games, and small time developers that actually make these games for people to enjoy. They can underprice the $70 price point and make their games, I don't know, $40, $50, you know, enough for them to still make a profit and enough for the consumer to say, hey, let me try this out, let me pick this up, because it's not $70. I would have no problem going into a store or looking on a PlayStation store or looking on Steam and seeing a game for like, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks and seeing some gameplay that might actually intrigue me and say, you know what, I'm going to try it out. 9 times out of 10, if I don't like it, I could always refund it. But at the same time, I wouldn't have any problems paying $50 for a game that they actually made for people to enjoy, consistently add updates. Even though I'm not really an update type person, I could get the full game and just have a blast with it and keep the community happy and, you know, want to hear that feedback from the community, you know, fix things, fix bugs and everything like that. I know we're in the technology age. I know these games are more complex, so there's going to be bugs and fixes that they need to do. As long as they are receptive to that, I feel as though there is a huge opportunity for small time developers to really get their names up there and possibly triumph over these big corporations, because these big corporations, their only priority is to continue making money. And if done correctly, these small time developers and companies can put out these games at a cheaper price point for passionate gamers to enjoy and love and getting thrilled about, and finally finally changed the game forever. Subscription services and online gaming is truly outdated. For example, PlayStation Plus, they essentially raised the price from $60 a year to $80 a year, and we're not getting that much bang for our buck anymore. And what I mean by that is you get the PlayStation Plus subscription, you get online capabilities, and you get free games every month. Now, this could be 2 free games or this could be 3 free games, depending on what type time are you on. It's pretty much a 95% chance that these games are either A, trash, or B, people already have them. And essentially, PlayStation Plus has lost its value over the years. And with the recent price increase, I'll tell you straight out, I am not buying PlayStation Plus. Once my data's up, I'm not buying it again. I know a lot of people were very disappointed with the price increase, and rightfully so, because it always travels back to corporate greed. Going for Xbox with the moment, I actually like what they're doing with the Xbox Game Pass. I really don't have any complaints about it. As a matter of fact, I lied. I have one complaint about it. I don't like how Xbox does the subscription monthly, and it's about $18 to $19 a month. I don't like to be charged monthly, especially when I have subscription services. If I want to have a subscription, I'd like to pay for it a year in advance, just to be sure that I won't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. The thing with Microsoft, though, is that they bill you monthly, and I know a lot of consumers, they generally are okay with that, but there is a small group of people that don't like to be billed monthly. But I do kind of get why they do it, because it's kind of like a subscription service thing with like TV, where they bill you monthly and you get access to essentially a lot of games on their service, which granted is a better value than PlayStation Plus. A lot. Maybe I'm tripping. Now, Xbox Game Pass is definitely better. What's to stop young gamers and console players that are essentially tired of consoles to just build their own PC and game online for free? I mean, with PC gaming, you don't have to pay to play online. You can essentially just build your PC and just start gaming right out the box. What's to stop people from going that route than to buy a console and on top of that buying something like PlayStation Plus Premium or PlayStation Plus Extra or the essential PlayStation Plus and paying an extra $80 on top of the consoles, which is already $500 or $450 depending on which model you get? What's to stop somebody from essentially getting the Xbox and then having to pay for Game Pass or Xbox Live Core or whatever they call it for 12 months just to play online, which is an extra $60? I know if I was in that boat, I'd just go with the PC, because PC is definitely just way better than consoles at this point. They have more benefits than cons, and with consoles, there are more cons than benefits, especially with the online subscription model that they have in place right now. If consoles want to stay afloat, they need to essentially, if they want people to still pay to play online, they need to lower the price drastically. And what I mean by that is have a separate tier to where you get free games every month. For the people that actually want to play the free games every month, have a specific tier for that and charge them $80. Even though I don't agree with it, that's the price that they have in place. But for the people that just want to game online with their friends and don't really want the free games, charge them about $10 to $20 every year just to game online. I would have no problem paying $10 to $20 every year just to play online, even though it sounds really goofy because you already pay for Wi-Fi with your internet service provider. You have to pay an extra $20 just to game online for your consoles. But at the same time, if it was $10 to $20, I mean, it's only $10 to $20. I could live with that. But paying $80 a year to get games that I don't want, or games that I more than likely already have, and to essentially just being able to play online, it is truly outdated. There's a lot of things that need to be changed in console gaming. But first and foremost, they need to revamp and reconstruct their subscription services for online gaming. I want to talk to you guys today about why I don't play video games anymore, and just kind of give you my take on the whole situation. So reason number one, I feel like the PlayStation 5 generation it's not a good generation for gaming. The amount of games that came out for it has either been remasters, remakes, or has been backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4. And I don't really have a problem with that. The problem is that there is really no new games, no new content. We only have about 5 games for the PlayStation 5 generation that actually was made for the PlayStation 5, which wasn't including remakes, which wasn't including backwards compatibility, which wasn't including anything other than the fact that it was natively made for the PlayStation 5. Only 5 games. I do know that we were in a very tough spot in the world. You know, I'm not taking that out of accountability, but at the same time, it's been a few years. So, I mean, I hope the games do get better. I do hope that they start natively putting games on PlayStation 5. Because even today, I seen that they dropped the Street Fighter collection, Street Fighter X Marvel collection, for PlayStation 4. And it kind of, I don't know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because we're in a PlayStation 5 generation, and, you know, PS4 is still getting games, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I do believe that there should be a PlayStation 5 port for PlayStation video games, you know? I feel like a lot of developers and companies are, I guess, downporting, which means that they're putting their games on PlayStation 4 because the PlayStation 4 is backwards compatible with the PlayStation 5. I feel like they should make a native PlayStation 5 version and a native PlayStation 4 version. One of the biggest examples I have of that is Red Dead Redemption. When that came out in August of 2023 or September 2020, it was somewhere around that time. It was made for PlayStation 4 games, just for the PlayStation 4. They didn't natively have a PlayStation 5 game. So when it came out, it was only running at 30 frames per second. And I'm kind of tech savvy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in the IT field. I'm an IT student, so I really do look at the technical aspects of video games. So when it only has 30 frame per second, you know, gameplay experience, it kind of hinders it for me. Not to say that I won't play it at 30 frames per second. It's just we're in a console generation where 60 frames per second should be the normal. It should be the minimum. We have people out here playing on PC that's running games at 120 frames per second, you know, 240 frames per second. If consoles really want to keep going, then it has to be a minimum of 60 frames per second. You guys do get what I'm saying. The native games for the PlayStation 5 has been lackluster, to say the least. Reason number 2, corporate greed has genuinely ruined the gaming community. I feel like a lot of multiplayer games now are just there only to make money from the consumer. You see games like Call of Duty, which is the biggest game that does it. They put items and character skins, and I don't know how many crossovers they have had since I made that video. But oh my gosh, they've been putting so much things in the Call of Duty. It's not even Call of Duty anymore. I mean, today I just looked on YouTube, and I don't know why I'm still subscribed to PlayStation. But I had seen like Call of Duty X Fallout skins, and I'm pretty sure it's only going to be in the item shop. So, I mean, games are just released now with the purpose of just making money. And there's no real ambition. There's no real drive. There's no real anything behind the game, just a soulless cash cow to milk money out of the consumer. Like I said 3 years ago, that's one of the biggest reasons why I stopped playing video games. You know, back then, 2009, 2010, I feel like Call of Duty was at its peak, and a lot of people think that way. They weren't releasing skins. Hell, we didn't even have a store, and we only had a store starting in Black Ops 2 when they started releasing DLC camos that you can buy, like which DLC camo you want. You can actually buy it. There was a page where you could just buy any gun camo that you wanted for about $2, $2-3. Even beyond the store, there was a game. There was that drive, that intensity to make the best Call of Duty every year. And I know it isn't the developers, it's the company. It's a really sad thing to see because you see a lot of gaming companies do this now. It's really, really challenging and frustrating to get on a game, and I work a lot and I go to school as a college student. So when you want to come home and just relax and hop on a game and spend time with people, it's not enjoyable anymore. Back then, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era, you could just hop on and have the best time with your friends. You know, skill-based matchmaking was a thing, but it wasn't as ramped up as it is today, you know. I'd like to say I'm fairly good at Call of Duty, even though I haven't played it in a long time. I was a beast in Black Ops 4. I can hold my own, but it gets frustrating and it gets tiresome when you have to play like you're in CDL every game because you're just that good. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way. You know, just because I'm good at the game, you want to match me up with players that are just as good as me every single match. I have no problem giving me a group of people, a lobby full of my peers that are actually as good as me at the game. I have no problem with that. I could sit there and take that. But every single game, that's what turned me off of a lot of games. Skill-based matchmaking, the putting the games out just for making money, it's a lot. You know, after you come home from college and working, you just want to sit down and have a pleasurable experience just playing video games, you know, chopping it up with the guys and the gals, you know, just having fun. But you can't really have fun on a game you're constantly fucking sweating in. It's not fun. It's really not. I don't mean to sit here and bitch, moan, and complain, but at the end of the day, that's really what's happening. And I know a lot of people go through that. For the third reason, and this is probably going to be my final reason, because I kind of just got brain fog. I guess there's just no magic to it anymore. Maybe it's just because I got older. I played a lot of video games in my life. I've been playing video games since I was 3 years old. I just don't enjoy playing video games. Now, I'll hop on every once in a while to play, but every day it's just, it feels more like a hassle than like an enjoyable experience, if that makes sense. And I know people don't do things that they don't enjoy. Listen, I'm all for video games. I'm not saying video games are bad. I mean, I played them basically all my life. It's just that there's nothing new. There's corporate greed going on. There's skill-based matchmaking in every single game, every PvP game. All of these things don't make the game enjoyable. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people feel the same way as me. They just can't enjoy video games anymore, which is why they look to other things. I know since I haven't been playing video games, I've been experiencing new things, been at the gym a lot, boxing, the gun range. There's a lot more things I've opened my eyes to that, you know, is bigger than video games. But at the same time, I can't, it's just something I just can't turn my back on. Because I've been playing video games for so long, I want video games and I want the gaming industry to succeed. At the same time, it's kind of hard. And I feel like we're in the dark ages of gaming because there are so many companies and there's just so many companies that's getting away with it, so many things. And I feel like somebody needs to step up and just try to take a crack at them. You know, I'm just a guy that enjoyed playing video games and can't really enjoy it anymore.